Hello everyone! Welcome back to a really exciting video. Today I'm going to show you something truly special, and when I say special, I really mean it. You've probably all heard about the biggest new feature in Unreal Engine 5.7 Preview, the Procedural Vegetation Editor. An absolute game-changer feature that finally allows us to create vegetation directly in Unreal without relying on external tools. And this is where Greenleaf Vision comes into play. We've created something we're really proud of: procedural broadleaf trees, the world's first asset pack that is fully compatible with the procedural vegetation editor. Yes, you heard that right. Apart from Epic's own example trees, we are the first to offer you this incredible flexibility and performance in a ready-to-use package. What makes this asset so unique? The heart of our package consists of two specially configured data assets, each containing a procedural vegetation preset. And the best part? You have full control. Of course, you can also use your own Foliage instances if you want to. Currently, we're using the Foliage instances provided by Epic, which means the asset only works with the Procedural Vegetation Editor plugin activated. But this brings a huge advantage. All trees are full geometry, no masked, opaque materials. That means real geometry, no transparency masks, perfect for Nanite foliage. If you haven't tried the new free Greenleaf Vision biome demos yet, be sure to check them out. These are currently available up to version 5.6. 5.7 preview will be added shortly, so it's worth checking back regularly. Be sure to check out our other assets that we already offer on the Fab Marketplace. There is also a large selection of Pivot Painter 2 wind trees, which currently offer the most visually appealing wind effect, and there's even a free shrubs asset to try out. Link in the description. And now let's continue. Why two data assets? Simple. The first data asset contains the data for beech and aspen trees, while the second is specifically optimized for maple trees. The reason for this separation lies in the different scaling of the foliage instances. Each tree species has its own specific requirements, and we wanted to make sure everything is perfectly calibrated. In total, you get 30 different unique tree structures that you can customize and modify as you wish. We've created 3 predefined procedural vegetation graph assets for you, one each for aspen, beech, and maple. These graphs are designed so you can get started right away. No tedious setup, no complicated configurations, just open and start customizing your trees individually. Export variety like never before. Now it gets really interesting. We haven't just created the 30 unique tree presets for you, but we've also already exported them in different variations. These variations differ in their foliage density and in the way the foliage instances were placed on the tree. The result, a whopping 131 skeletal meshes and just as many static meshes. So you get maximum variety right out of the box, both as skeletal mesh for dynamic wind animations with the complete bone system, and as static mesh for static placements. The asset includes a customized wind example PCG graph with which you can bring your trees to life. As we know from Epic's examples, the system uses skeletal meshes with hundreds of bones to create realistic wind animations, and now you can do exactly that with our trees too. Additionally, you get 2 overview maps. The first map shows all skeletal meshes that are placed through the PCG graph, complete with wind effects. The second map offers you a complete overview of all included skeletal and static meshes, perfect for selecting exactly the right tree for your scene. Also included is a complete project file for Unreal Engine 5.7 Preview, in which all necessary plugins are already activated. Let me show you now how powerful this system really is. Let's first look at the gravity node. As the name suggests, this node simulates gravity and makes your branches hang downward, perfect for weeping willows or wind-beaten trees. You can adjust the strength precisely and even control the direction. Now let's combine that with the remove branches node. You can remove branches based on their age, based on generation, by radius, or even by lighting conditions. This value can be used, for example, to remove the lowest, smallest branches growing out of the trunk, which is very practical. The entire tree can also be scaled to the desired size. Another powerful tool is the bone reduction graph. Here you can, just like with the original Epic trees, adjust the number of bones. From very large bones to many small detailed bones, you have full control over the performance of your trees. The fewer bones, the better the performance, but you still retain the flexibility of skeletal meshes. perfect foliage density at the push of a button. Let's get to the foliage distributor presets. We've created 4 prefabricated presets specifically for the trees in this asset. These differ in foliage density as well as in the size scaling of the foliage instances. Do you want a lush, dense summer forest? Or rather a sparse autumn tree? You can of course also make your own settings. You have full control over the override distribution options, and which allows you to adjust foliage density, scaling, angle, and placement down to the smallest detail. And when you're happy with your tree, then simply export it. As usual, you can choose between skeletal mesh and static mesh. All the settings you've made, the bone structure, the foliage instances, the density, everything is perfectly transferred in the export. Every procedurally created tree uses Nanite assembly references. You can also configure the wind influence of each individual tree in detail. To do this, open the respective skeletal mesh and go to the Skeletal Mesh section, Asset User Data. Then go to Skeletal Data and click on Simulation Groups. Index 0 is normally always the trunk, at least for the trees in this asset. That is why a check mark is set there. Index 1 is then the first branch generation, etc. Now change the influence values as desired. Aspen trees are currently not included as fully converted skeletal or static meshes, but since everything is already pre-configured for this, any tree can also be exported as an aspen tree. And the best part? Since everything is compatible with the Nanite foliage system in 5.7, you not only get fantastic-looking trees, but also impressive performance. Real geometry for every single leaf, optimized through Nanite, just like it was shown in the Witcher 4 demo. With procedural broadleaf trees from Greenleaf Vision, you don't just get an asset pack, you get a complete professional toolset to create your own unique forest. Maximum flexibility, maximum performance, and as the first asset of its kind, a real innovation for the Unreal Engine community. Try it out, experiment with the nodes, create your own variations. The possibilities are practically endless. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.